Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tackling something pretty much all of us have faced at some point: why breakups just keep happening, and more importantly, how we can actually stop the cycle. We're going to dive deep into those sneaky, hidden habits that slowly undermine love, and we'll break down exactly how to build a relationship that's built to last.
You know that feeling when you look back at your past relationships and realize they all kind of ended the exact same way? It's like you have different faces, different names, totally different beginnings, but somehow you end up at the exact same painful finish line. Another heartbreak and another promise to yourself that next time will be different. Well, if you keep finding yourself in this loop, it's time to shift our perspective. We have to stop asking, why do I always meet the wrong people? And start asking, is there something I need to learn here?
Section 1. The cycle of heartbreak. It's not one dramatic mistake. So instead of just wondering why we meet the wrong people, we really need to look at what we can learn. Because relationships rarely just explode overnight from one massive mistake. No, they slowly erode from tiny, repeated habits that we can trust in intimacy over time. Moving right along to Section 2, cracks in the foundation, which covers trust, compatibility, and expectations. Let's look closely at these foundational issues, starting with how we actually view our partners from day one. Look, nobody's perfect. Expecting a partner to magically read your mind, meet every single emotional need, or never mess up, that is just a one-way ticket to constant disappointment. The real game changer here is shifting your focus towards shared growth. You've got to appreciate them for who they actually are, instead of holding them to some impossible, flawless standard. Building on that, we often confuse chemistry with compatibility. Sure, chemistry is that magnetic, super exciting pull at the beginning, like bonding instantly over your favorite band. But true compatibility, that's agreeing on how to manage stress or how to handle finances. That's the stuff that actually helps relationships survive the years. So how do we actually figure out if we're compatible early on? You've got to ask the big questions. To truly know someone's character before you're deeply invested, you need to discuss these 5 core topics: values, commitment, family, finances, and future goals. Having these conversations ensures your foundation is built on really solid ground. And let's be real, that solid ground is entirely dependent on trust. Without it, even a delayed text message feels incredibly suspicious. Keeping promises and being honest, that is absolutely non-negotiable. Trust doesn't just sprout from what you say you'll do, it grows through your consistent actions day in and day out. Section 3, the communication breakdown: silence, arguments, and repeating mistakes. Let's examine how communication fails can slowly turn a loving partnership into a total battleground. A lot of folks mistakenly think communication is just talking, but actually it requires listening, understanding, being completely honest, and expressing your feelings respectfully. Healthy communication is the active tool that solves problems before they become permanent roadblocks. Here's a wild irony for you. Staying silent just to avoid a fight, that actually lets those unspoken frustrations snowball into much bigger problems. Many couples dodge difficult conversations because they hate fighting, but we have to address issues calmly and early, focusing on solving a problem together rather than sweeping it all under the rug. If you're having the exact same argument every few months, the underlying issue just hasn't been fixed. If you're just repeating the same mistakes over and over, apologies eventually lose all their meaning. You have to identify the pattern, agree on practical changes, and actually follow through. Real growth comes from changed behavior, not just saying I'm sorry. All right, Section 4. Fading sparks, lost identities, attrition, and neglect. Let's talk about what happens when that initial effort slowly vanishes as life gets chaotic. You know how at the beginning of a relationship, you pulled out all the stops? You planned dates, sent thoughtful messages, the whole shebang. Then, life got busy, and that effort just kind of disappeared. But love needs attention. Neglect causes even the strongest relationships to crack. You absolutely must continue dating each other, celebrating the small wins, and showing appreciation regularly. Another massive trap is losing yourself. You cannot make the relationship your entire world and just ditch your friends, your personal goals, or your hobbies. Healthy relationships are built by 2 whole individuals supporting each other, not 2 people who completely lose their own identities in the process.
Because of this, we really have to adjust our expectations of what long-term love feels like. It doesn't run purely on those butterfly feelings. When the initial excitement fades, a lot of people think the love is just gone. But that's exactly when real love becomes a series of daily choices, choosing patience, choosing honesty, and choosing forgiveness over and over again.
Which brings us to section 5, the ultimate relationship fix, the common denominator. Now we shift gears from blaming the outside to a really powerful internal realization. Okay, time for a hard truth. If every relationship ends the exact same way, we have to look in the mirror. We need to acknowledge the habits that we are bringing into these dynamics. It's not about beating yourself up. It's a profound opportunity to actually grow. Because it's simple. The more emotionally healthy you become, the healthier your relationships will be. Now, growth doesn't guarantee every relationship is going to succeed, but building these healthy habits, communicating well, choosing wisely, investing consistently, and forgiving dramatically increases your chances of a lasting bond. Because you're fundamentally improving yourself. When things get tough, and honestly, they inevitably will, you've got to ask yourself this absolutely crucial question. Do I want to win this argument, or do I want to protect this relationship? Winning might satisfy your ego for a hot minute, but if it damages your trust, you both lose. Always choose understanding over your ego. The difference between relationships that make it and the ones that don't isn't a lack of problems. It's the willingness of both people to grow. So I want to leave you with this to chew on. What kind of partner are you becoming? I'd love to hear in the comments what you think is the biggest reason relationships fail today. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and hey, keep choosing growth.